Hey lads, how's it going? Good to meet you. Come on in. Sorry, it looks like Christmas is thrown up in here, lads. Come on in.
Right, nothing like a bit of Christmas spirit, you know.
Come on through. This is Katie, my wife, my dog Gizmo. I am working on a miniature version of Fixate Gallery, and it's going to go inside one of the walls, like a hidden room, and then you're going to have like this light switch, so that when you pull it off, you'll be able to look in and see a version of the gallery. But we're going to do it up every time they've got an exhibition. So, yeah. So the point of it is you'll have this kind of space that you won't know it's there, and it will reveal this secret little exhibition, which is cool. Which we thought would be really cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's about a year ago that I started scratch building things, and I'd taken like this little wall to fixate, and they were like, oh, they just gave me a chance to showcase my work. And so I spent 3 months making a bunch of stuff from Christchurch, called it Shadow Town. That was thanks to Ruben. And it was their most successful exhibition they've had to date, which blew my mind really, because I didn't know what to expect. It was my first exhibition, and man, it was amazing. And the response ever since has been great, and this year's just been nuts. So yeah. Oh, I've got a lot of free time on my hands. It's just the magic. It's the magic it brings, you know. I think realizing I spent like 3 years before I did stuff for Fixate, making like mini VHS, these little things for the American market, and you'd choose your VHS, and you know, and I was doing that. I was enjoying it, but I never really felt connected to Christchurch. So then I just thought, well, man, making stuff small, but stuff that, you know, used to exist in Christchurch and still does, and then there was no one else doing it. So I kind of started making bins and, you know, little stuff, from Fixate seeing it and picked it up. But there is something, it's very hard to describe when you've got something small that's a replication of something big. It's just like, yeah. So that's ghosts on every corner. That idea came from randomly having a beer in town with Nath, who's one of the owners at Fixate, and he'd sent me this picture of a guy called Anonymous, and he's on Instagram, and he's in Europe, but he makes these little buildings and he sticks them to the sides of places in the city. And he was like, oh, you should do that, and we'll you know, make a little cafe and we'll do prints of them and sell them. And I was like, whoa, I could make places of things that used to exist in Christchurch before the earthquake, put them in their original location, and you know, and get pictures of that. And then I was like, oh man, we should do a book. And I was like, you can do whatever you want. So it's just kind of spawned this small idea, just, well, it's kind of snowballed into this huge kind of, you know, this huge thing now, and now it's a book which we got funding through Boosted. And so yeah, that's what we'll be working on for the next year or two. It's a big project though, so. Oh, that's a good question. What I'm fond of, I would have to say the stairs. So that was something, it's on Hereford Street. I don't know if you guys have seen it. And like lots of artists have put their artwork on. We've got Jacob Yikes' work on there, lots of paste up guys put on there. I know it encompasses everything that what I'm doing, you know, just in one piece. It's kind of worn down, it's covered in art. It's representation of a building that used to exist. Okay, I'll do the short story because I don't want to bore you, but so before this project began with Fixate, I was doing the Monster Mailman things, and it was the first COVID that hit, and my little lad Walter, who was only 6, little cat, had a very deep connection with him, and he died. And so the name Ghostcat came about from a book from an artist who drew this cat, and it's about losing a pet and how you deal with it, and just Ghostcat kind of resonated with me. And then I named myself that. I started doing this, and then everything just kind of took off from there. So yeah, that's why I'm called Ghostcat. I was miserable as doing carpentry, because that was the trade that I worked in, and this job come up, and it was a props technician. I'd got no skills or anything like that. And I was just like, man, I've got to get this job, you know, it was like the dream job. So instead of just handing in a CV, I made a tombstone. It was like, cost me like $400. I made this giant tombstone, and it had a skull on it, and in the mouth of the skull it was magnetised. I put my CV, and then I dropped that off at the court. And I was like, boom, there's my CV. And they were like, okay. And then I got the call back. I went for an interview. It was a really weird interview because I had to make something out of a bunch of bits. Went back for a second interview and got the job. So most of my work is at Fixate. I've got a few pieces left. So you'll be able to see the little secret gallery which lights up. That is a replication of Chimp Show that's just been to Fixate. It's not on anymore, they've rehung, but you'll be able to see it as miniature. But I've got lots of bits and bobs that are selling there and new stuff that I'm making all the time. It's generally always through Fixate. Just lurking around town like a little creep. But yeah, I've got a few pieces I put up in town, but I want to do more of that, but there's lots going on, so yeah, eventually I will, but yeah, it's cool. It's been my pleasure, guys. Thanks very much. Take it easy and have a good Christmas.
You too, man.
See ya.